Hey guys, what's up? It's Apollo here. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome back to our Game of Thrones battle series where Pixelated and myself are recreating the major battles of the War of the Five Kings through the power of the Seven Kingdoms mod for Total War Attila. So in the first episode, we witnessed the very first battle of the War of the Five Kings, known as the Battle of the Golden Tooth. It was a decisive victory for Jammie Lannister, so Jammie and his father, Tywin Lannister, go ahead and lay siege to Riverrun. Now, Tywin decides to split the army into two different forces, each force consisting of about 30,000 men. Jammie would lead the force that is sieging Riverrun. Now, Tywin leads the other force north along the west bank of the Green Fork of the Trident River to prevent the Starks from lifting the siege. So while that's going on, Robb Stark and his generals are debating strategy. They don't really know what to do with these two forces. So Robb is pretty undecided until they capture a Lannister scout. And he tells him to carry a message to Tywin telling him that 20,000 northern warriors are coming to face him. Soon, Robb Stark's mother, Cad Stark, negotiates with Lord Walter Frey to allow Robb's army safe passage across the Trident at the Twins. Not only does Walder give him safe passage, but he even contributes some of his levies to Robb's army, in return for Robb agreeing to marry one of his daughters. After Robb and his troops cross the river, Robb splits his army into two forces, one consisting of 2,000 men, which would be a diversion force to face Tywin Lannister. Now, based on the information the captured scout has given Tywin Lannister, he prepares his army to confront Robb Stark's army at the Battle of the Green Fork. But there's actually only 2,000 men, and he quickly realizes that this was a diversion. He was deceived. So this is where things get really interesting. Jammie Lannister has been sieging Riverrun. He's also been chasing down small bands of troops that might have survived the Battle of the Golden Tooth, just preventing them from being able to group up and do a counterattack. Well, Robb Stark sets up an ambush in the Whispering Wood, and he deceives Jammie, making him think that there's a small band of troops in the woods. Well, he's gonna find out there's actually about 20,000 northern warriors who are very upset and are eager to kill some Lannister forces. Welcome to the Battle of the Whispering Wood. Alright, so here we are at the Whispering Woods, and Jammie, he's on his way, thinking he's going to kill a small group of people, like a couple hundred, but yeah, he's in for a rude awakening.
He is. He has no idea that Robb Stark has actually crossed the Twins after making an alliance with the Freys, and well, here he is.
Yep.
Waiting to ambush. It's a pretty decent host. It's about 2,000 men from the Westerlands, but he's thinking he's going up against just a few hundred Tully men, so to speak. One of the Pipers, so to speak, the son of the Lord of House Piper that actually died during the Battle of the Golden Tooth. He's obviously very frustrated at this, and he's been like using about 50 men to raid Lannister supply trains, and I think Lannister's just had about enough of it, that kind of behavior here during the siege of Riverrun. So it's an overwhelming force to deal with a few hundred raiders, but it's also an underwhelming force that's most likely going to get slaughtered if they go up against 20,000 something Northmen hiding in the forest.
He's just had victory after victory after victory at this area, you know, especially after the Golden Tooth, and he's just been chasing down small bands of, you know, troops. So yeah, this
harassing the Riverlands in general, and killing lords and capturing their seats.
Yeah, so he is not expecting such a force like this.
A rather massive force still, if you look at it. It's a very, very large army. I mean, thinking about it, Jammie in his position, he sallied out with 30,000 men from the Westlands to lay siege to Riverrun, and he lost very, very few at the Battle of Golden Tooth, and probably has lost very few since. But since he's such an important character, yeah, you're gonna want to outnumber the enemy like 20 times anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a small band of raiders, you never know what they're going to be hiding. So right now at this moment, Tywin Lannister, who left after Jammie, actually thinks he's going up against 20,000 Northmen quite far from here during the Battle of Green Fork. But that's only 2,000. which has allowed Rob to create a diversion, so he can focus on the much needed assistance here near Riverrun, so he can free the siege of Riverrun and kind of like focus on one army at the time.
Yeah, and also
So.
capturing Jammie would be huge for the war effort. So
Absolutely.
yeah, this is. I mean, Rob's got to be licking his lips at this point. Like, oh, he's going for it. What an idiot.
Yeah. Right now, Tywin is probably face palming. Like he's thinking, like, wait a minute, this was only 2,000 Northmen, not 20,000. Where are the others? And I mean, there ain't no bloody.
I feel bad for the
satellite
scout.
Quick dial here.
Yeah, the scout who gave him that information.
The thing is, I think the scout thought he was telling the truth.
Yeah,
There's
that's
really
true.
no moral dilemma for him. Like he didn't know anything else. He didn't know any better.
So yeah,
I'm having a hard time spotting some of the Northmen, but you can kind of see them heading in the forest. Volleys.
Uh-oh. There we go, the ambush is underway. The North is releasing arrows.
Jammie's pulling back.
Yeah, he's freaking out. He's getting out of there. I mean, even at this point, you can't think that this is, like, that bad until you actually see the infantry appear from the forest.
No, they did expect at least to meet up with the raiders, but...
Yeah.
Here we go. Starkmen moving in.
Once they saw the North banners, they knew they were in for some trouble. But yeah, here comes House Stark. Guardsmen.
Soldiers moving in as well. We have Umbers while moving in.
Now House Lannister, they've got their men just trying to rush forward, trying to get into position, trying to save themselves in this ambush.
They know they're surrounded by now, but now they have to just make a solid stand here.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you don't really know in an ambush of what you're facing. So I'm sure the soldiers of Lannister, they have hope of winning this one.
Men getting absolutely cut down there by men from Stark.
Oh yeah, Par Stark now sending in troops too. There's fighting just all over the place. Complete chaos.
Nicely timed here.
Robb Stark moving into the back lines of the Lannister army.
Lannister soldiers clashing with Umbers. Trying to form some sort of battle line here. There seems to be a little bit of a chaotic organization there. They're like trying to reform. They're not entirely sure where to form their lines.
Yeah, I mean,
fighting all over the place.
Just imagine, just like every time you form a line, and then out of nowhere, here comes another horde of troops coming from a different angle. Just having to constantly reform and try to hold some sort of battle line against this ambush army.
Nicely timed about Rob's attack here is that not all the units came out at once. They faced the front against the men of Stark first. And then later on, the car Stark joined in from one flank, and now finally the Umbers from the high ground to the for the back there to kind of like finalize it, and that is really causing a lot of chaotic maneuvering among the Lannister lines. They're not really sure where to form them up.
Yeah, it was well timed by Rob. You know, just everything just fell into place, and so far we're seeing a lot of Lannisters getting slaughtered and going back home.
Rob's cavalry attacking from the rear, just finishing up some of the Lannister spearmen. Overwhelming force. They're not going to be able to stand that.
Yeah, you can see Lannisters trying to form somewhat of a blockade. Now they are falling back there. You see that little opening there in this like circle of death that the North have decided to ambush Lannister at. And here comes Robb Stark once again chasing down the spears who look like they're swordsmen who are going back to Jammie, but yeah, jeez, oh god.
Jammie himself has dismounted. He knows that he cannot. I think fighting on horseback in a situation like this is going to be a little tricky. He is dismounted, and he's calling the soldiers around him to form some sort of a defense.
Yeah, you're just a big target on horseback in this type of situation.
He knows he's surrounded by now.
Yeah.
The remnants of the Lannister convoy is just being mopped up. So do keep in mind that about 6,000 Northmen attacked the 2,000 Lannisters here. So numerically, they were at a disadvantage.
Yeah,
even at the start of this.
Not only were they just outpositioned, ambushed, but they had overconfidence and did not expect a force like this.
Nice to look around the battlefield from a position and to see the scattered chaos and the different little combat going around here and there.
Yeah.
There's like smaller battles in themselves all around the battlefield.
Yeah, and you can see Jammie just perfectly in the center, just like, oh crap, you know?
Shit.
This is bad.
We got the archers softening them up as well.
Oh yeah, that's true, trying to take out the bodyguard. But you know that Jammie realizes that he's not gonna die here. I mean, he knows he's going to be a prisoner of war, and he's going to be used to leverage.
I don't think he stresses out that much. He's probably just sighing right now.
Yeah.
Did I really just fall for this? That's the kind of characteristics I'm getting out of Jammie, if I know him correct.
Yeah, so there he is, surrounded. You can see all of the troops moving in closer and closer. Robb Stark getting like talking distance to Lannister.
All the other remaining soldiers either retreating or being cut down. I think, once again, the main goal is not to kill every single Lannister soldier running away. Jammie was the target of this strike, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Here he is, getting surrounded.
He's just...
Game over, Jammie.
If I was one of his bodyguard, I'd be like, drop in my weapons. Just like, all right, okay, I'm done. I surrender.
Clearing out now, we have some troop movement here on the north side, so to speak.
Yep, here they go.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know the north is feeling good right now. Mission accomplished.
Zooming out, we see the aftermath of this fight. It was a complete Lannister slaughter, so to speak. And a very decisive victory for the north and the Tullys, who were few, but still, the Riverlands were present in this fight.
Yeah, House Frey. You know, this is a great use of using your enemy's overconfidence and just setting up a fantastic... I mean, if you just look at this force, this is just a perfect place for an ambush. And there we go. They're going in to capture Jammie Lannister.
Yeah, capture and disarm the remaining guardsmen who refused to surrender after plenty of talking there. But that's about it. That wraps up that ambush. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're going to move over to hasty finisher here to the overall siege of Riverrun. We'll see you there.
So after Robb Stark and his troops obliterated the Lannister army and captured Jammie Lannister at the Battle of the Whispering Wood, they would continue the second stage of the liberation of Riverrun. So immediately after that battle, they would march to the Lannister camp that is surrounding Riverrun and attack it. And those troops in the camp are in for a rude awakening. Welcome to the Battle of the Camps.
Here we are at the Battle of the Camps. Shortly after the Battle of the Whispering Woods, Robb's objective is now to finish off what he started and to kill the rest of Jammie Lannister's army currently besieging Riverrun. It's a rainy, dark night.
Yeah, I mean...
I have no idea what's coming for him.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think that the soldiers were somewhat suspicious. You know, like, I guess they just assumed maybe Jammie's kind of camping out. You know, like, they chased down that small band of troops, and they're just kind of resting out there. And Tywin, of course, is out killing 20,000, so he thought. So the troops in the camp, they have to be like, well, maybe they're just out doing their jobs, and they'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah. And, of course, there's no chance in hell that there's 20,000 Northmen this close to the siege of Riverrun. Absolutely not. We got all the Tully men surrounded and locked indoors. So there's really no reason for these guys to question anything, which is probably why this battle turned out to be the way it was.
And because of the limitations of the game, they wouldn't even, I doubt they would have their armor on. You know, they'd be like in normal clothes, resting in their tents.
Oh, did you hear that horn?
Oh, there it is.
There's screams outside the walls.
Yep. The Karstark's moving in some troops.
the cover of the darkness, not spotted by the guardsmen, not expecting the camp itself to be attacked by the besieged men. But wait, they're not the besieged ones, they're the Northmen. And they're coming in force now. Breaching the walls, and the battle is about to commence.
How terrifying.
Oh.
Yeah, Lannister, they are just all unorganized.
Organized and taken by quite surprise.
Chaos.
Very fierce fighting here.
Yes, yes. Chaos in the night. Troops just running around, searching for their gear.
Plenty of horses who are running around too.
Yeah.
See some car starts on the other side of the camp now. This is kind of splitting up the camp defenders to both sides of the camp, which leaves one main entrance open, and that's a pretty big issue for the defenders, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like the North is kind of distracting the different flanks of the camp. And the Karstarks able to just punch a hole right into the defenses, now marching further into the camp.
Look at the main gate.
Oh god.
Robb Stark and his men charging in.
A huge
Here to finish what they
amount of
started.
troops, yeah.
Absolutely
Seeking
disgusting.
revenge.
You can see Robb Stark's cavalry further back too, riding in the rain. This was shown briefly in a scene in the series, just his cavalry lining up. So I think this is a pretty good representation of that brief scene we saw in the series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Holy crap! Look at them charging in here.
Lannisters forming up their final stand here. It looks like they're just going around the center of the camp, trying to form any kind of defense, any hope of surviving.
Lannister guardsmen moving up now, or at least some regular men at arms. Very hard to tell friend from foe here.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine there's probably a lot of friendly fire in this.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from House Lannister, because, you know, the soldiers are probably freaking out and just kind of like stabbing carelessly.
And the archers in the guard towers also just firing at whatever they can, pretty much.
Yeah, into the blobs of just dark soldiers, you know? The shadow of a soldier.
A lot of blood being spilled near the campfires.
Is that Robb Stark?
Illuminating ground.
Oh no, that's just some mounted guardmen.
Trying to catch Robb too. He's gonna be hard to spot here, but
yeah,
you're somewhere doing the dirty.
It's honestly hard to spot anything.
Yeah.
I love the flames though. You can just
Yeah.
like see, you know, what's going on in that small area.
Like, what the hell is going on? Utter Lannister slaughter.
So yeah, it appears Robb Stark was able to use deception, using his enemy's overconfidence to send relief to Riverrun.
This was really just the sort of cherry on top. Most of the deception and Springwoods essentially. This was just a mop up of the cleverly issued assault. There we go. Well, we'll have to see where the War of the Five Kings take us next. But everyone, hope you guys enjoyed this somewhat special video. 2 battles in one, kind of summarizing the entire Siege of Riverrun. And I look forward to seeing you, Apollo, and the rest of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys.